Hello guys, I'm back with Adam and Kevin. Another question I wanted to ask you guys was, now with all this new LED technology coming out and them being power efficient and stuff like that, a big rumor I have heard is that LEDs don't have the same throw as old tungsten or Fresnel lights. What is your opinion, or what do you think the future of lighting technology is?
You know, I feel like maybe a year and a half ago that would have been true. Like all you had was light panels, like they were the de facto LEDs, like the only ones. But like there's so many new emerging technologies. We on the show, on the Nickelodeon show that we're shooting right now, we use LED light panels 1x1s that are equivalent to a 1K, daylight 1K. And we run them off Anton Bauer packs. So we bring them out to the location and it's great. And we also just checked out Mole Richardson that has Fresnels now that are almost like what they have, a 1K, a 1.5, and a 2K, I believe.
And those punch.
Yeah, and they punch. So yeah, I think that the technology is there now.
Just when you say punch, what do you mean punch?
I mean, it's equivalent to what a tungsten 2K would be.
Right, okay.
So yeah, I don't think that that's a fact anymore.
Really?
I'm also a nerd, so there are certain things that I'm pretty excited by. There's hive lights, which are coming out, which are plasma.
They have the red housing or something like that, right? Or that might have been like a brand version of the hive light?
They look like a spaceship.
Yeah,
pretty much.
They're like really like the straight edges. I think. Yeah.
And then
interesting.
the Neela is another brand that makes a bunch of really cool things, and they're really small. They're like this big, and they can also throw like 1 or 2K out.
Right. And so what about? I mean, is something we were talking about off camera, and I'll bring up right now, is that now the cities are changing their lights to LEDs and stuff like that. You can't change the color of the sun, but I mean, how is color temperature adding into all these new lighting technologies? I mean, besides just, I mean, because normally before you would put a gel on it or something like that.
Right.
And with some of the newer or the LEDs, you could change the temperature out on the back.
Right.
Yeah.
How about, like, could you do that with the Mole Richardsons or?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, actually, it's funny because they have them both tungsten and in daylight. So what we've been doing on the show that we've been working on is we have the daylight, 5600, and we just throw a CTO in front of it or a half CTO and gel it. I mean, I see no difference between using an HMI and like an LED when it comes to that.
Huh.
Well, there's also certain brands like KinoFlow. So KinoFlow came out with a Celeb, which is pretty much like their fluorescent tubes, except it's all LED. So it's super soft, but it's LED, and you can turn the color temperature from, I think it's down to like 2,000 all the way up to 8,000, just on the back, just with a little turn.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And that's convenient, especially if you're doing location shooting or dock work where you don't have a lot of time and you just, you go into a room and you say, all right, I want to augment this light. I want to give this person, fill in a little bit here, and then we'll just dial it and be like, oh, that's the color. Boom, there, you're done. Now, you can match it without having to have a whole grip kit and truck with gels and everything.
Right. That's awesome. And so now that brings me with the future of technology getting so quickly, like LEDs and stuff like that. I've heard some producers say that they don't need lights anymore. And this is coming back to the camera technology. Where is your stance on that? Do you think that's gonna be possible? Like I think Canon did like a candle test.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, you could shoot without lights. I wouldn't want to.
Right.
We have the sensitivity, but it's not really about that.
Yeah, it's about the motivation. It's about the motivation of the light and the story that you're trying to tell. And just because I can shoot in this room with no light, what story is it telling? Nothing.
A dark story, I guess.
Or a light story, because it can almost see in like blackness. But there's no contrast. There's no fill. There's no negative fill. There's no we
There's no shape.
Yeah, we shape light. That's what we do. So by saying like just shoot and not light,
right?
What are you doing? You're not telling a story anymore. You're just at that point you're just pointing a camera at somebody.
Do you believe in post work on like lighting and stuff like that?
Oh sure. I mean, post is just as important as as sound as anything else. But to get it, you should get the look in the camera as close as you can. I'm a big believer in that.
Agreed. I mean, like the people who do color correcting are wizards. They do magic. But it should definitely be the DP who is the one on set who creates approximately what it should look like, and then the guy afterwards comes in and.
Well, I mean, and I think that's a good that's a question I always ask too, or I'm always interested in is, how do you protect, or how does the camera protect their image? Because now it's like, especially if you shoot raw and flat,
Yeah.
you could be going for a color scheme or something, and then someone goes in there and says, nope, we want to have greens instead of blue. Or,
Right.
Funny you should say something like that.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that not even 2 days ago.
Really?
So what we were thinking of was to do some kind of a LUT that we create in Resolve, and we pass that off to
Right.
the person who then comes in and post.
Got it.
I mean, I feel ultimately it's going to be the director's choice when it comes to color and everything like that.
No, of course.
But in terms of shaping light and shadows, you can't really change that. Yeah, you can relight a scene in post, but if you light it correctly, yeah, fine, maybe we can change the color and the tone of it, but the light and shadows are going to stay the same. And that's what we, that's what, as a director of photography, that's what you're playing with all day long.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys. That was pretty interesting. We'll hope you guys join us for the other segments.